So you got all 25 hours in for January, okay, huh?
Oh, yeah. Was
Yeah.
not a problem.
Ammerman was going over there yesterday,
No,
Monday.
Rusin went over, no, who's the last one that was over there? Rusin was over there Saturday.
Give me 30 seconds.
He was over Saturday.
Did you say you put a separate report in here about freedom?
They're broken down though, not really a separate report, it's,
Freedom's
yeah,
right on top.
kinda yes.
It's a freedom on top.
Oh, it does say freedom right on top. You're right.
It's all right.
There is one there though that breaks it down, it's this one.
Okay.
It just breaks down what we wrote there, how many citations we wrote there, and so many we wrote here. That's as good as I can get the program to work. So that's why I kind of broke it down a little bit further there on that front page.
I see.
Alright, I'm ready.
Are we ready? All right, let's take the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have roll call, please.
Mr. Barlow,
He's here.
Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Mr. Cowell.
Present.
Okay, public comment. Do we have anybody on the phone for public comment?
Hello.
Hello? If you're watching and these are a YouTube video and you want to call in, our public number to call in and join our meeting tonight is 717-996-3996. Access code is 36761. Okay, so if we have no public comment, we'll move on to supervisor comments. Do the supervisors have any comments? Bob?
Go ahead, I'll have one in a minute.
Okay, 1 minute, Bobby.
Thanks Mickey and Bruce for helping out as well on the snow recently. I was out of town and I got back in town just after it happened, so thanks for a job well done.
Okay, Bob?
Yeah, just, report on the Adams County Tax Collection Committee, and they wanted to make sure we send in our, financial statements to separately, the YATB and the Adams County Collection Committee. Can you,
Yeah, they want a separate statement of financial interest.
No.
I know you submit one to me, but they want one for themselves.
are you gonna do that, or do we do that directly?
You could bring them into me and I'll email them over.
Can you just take the copies of what we have?
No, they don't want that, they want you to do your own, because under the organization name, they want you to write YATB and not Liberty Township.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh,
They said do not use the same form.
then why is this is the first year they've done this?
I
No.
used to just send your other one, but I guess they don't like those anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, no, they've always requested it, but they just dealt with the other one, but now they're like, no, we need you to list YATB on there, so.
as what?
On top of the form, when it says the organization, instead of Liberty Township, which is the organization you're filing with the YATB because you're on the board of YATB.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know you was on the
We
board?
are, yeah, we are.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
you're an alternate.
That's why we
I think
have to, they need a quorum and we have to vote.
I'm on the board and
You're
you're an
a member.
alternate, and both of us have to do that.
Okay, all right.
And I don't know whether you're on the board of the Adams County, but I assume so also.
We put in that we're all equal on all those things.
And then the other thing, I've been promoted to the exalted position of a member of the Hearing Appeals Board, which meets twice a year.
Is that the zoning?
No, that's
What is
YATB.
Yes.
A YATB?
And I'm an alternate. I'm not even on I'm not even on the first string yet.
Okay, cool.
And, the other is the FREMA meeting. We have a requirement that the it's either everybody in the township or just the officials. It's my understanding that just the supervisors have to complete a couple of their NIMS.
NIM classes,
NIMS.
yeah.
That and you have to have 100 and 700 comes first, 100 comes second, and if you're really enthusiastic, you can go after 200. But you only really need the first two. I'm the only one on it still, but the reason we have to be on it is in case we have a emergency that qualifies for federal funds. We would be excluded from the handout if we're not on that list. So that's the urgency of it.
Is that an online thing?
Yeah. Jessica, didn't you already?
It's online, but if you don't want to do an online call, Mr. Wine.
Mr. Long.
Okay.
And what we do is he sets a date, everybody goes down to the meeting room and reviews the material, after which you take the test on what you just reviewed, so it's not really much of a challenge.
It's not a 3.5 hour deal?
It's it depends which one you're taking. Each one's about an hour.
Yes, if you do it online, it's like 3 hours.
Yeah, but you gotta know the answers.
Right. So you go down the
If
head.
you go down there, you get a little coaching. If you,
Okay. Oh, that's the coaching part. Did you have a number for him?
no, but Adam Wine,
We
I
have
had,
his number in the office.
it's a formality that we should have been following. I don't know whether anybody else in the township is required. It would be nice, but I don't think it would be disqualifying if we didn't do it, so.
Okay.
Those are all the technicalities I need to address tonight.
Okay. All right, thanks, Bob. Anything else?
Nope.
Good, okay. The only thing I have for supervisors is we had an executive session here at 7 o'clock to discuss, personnel matters, here in the township, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. Other than that, I'm good on the comment area. So we will move on to, our minutes for January, 4th, 2021. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes, for the reorg meeting? And if so, could I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, for our regular January 4th Board of Supervisors minutes, everyone have an opportunity to review those minutes, and if so, can I have a motion to approve?
Once again, so moved.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that was quick. All right, January 2021 Treasurer's Report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the Treasury Report?
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good deal. All right, now we have, our next one is gonna be our invoices for under our expenses. These are retroactive for approval for January 5th to February 10th. Does everyone have an opportunity to review those?
I have one, make a motion that we pay them.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay. And then the invoices for approval for January, will be February 16th, 2021. Everyone had an opportunity for those?
I have it, I'll make a motion we approve it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now we have the payroll for, it's retroactive payroll from January 3rd through January 16th. Everyone have an opportunity to review that payroll.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to approve the payroll?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we have now the January 17th to January the 30th retroactive payroll. We have everyone have an opportunity to review that.
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, this is wonderful. Okay. All right, so we're done with that part. And then we're gonna go down here to the police report.
Police report, January 2021, worked 279 hours, 21 hours on call, put 1,237 miles on the car, used 100 gallons of gas, answered 12 911 calls, PSP handled 5 calls for us. We wrote 87 traffic citations, out of those, 10 warnings, 11 faulty equipments. We had 3 felony and misdemeanor arrests. We did work work also 25 hours in Freedom Township, and those numbers included 2 911 calls, 36 traffic citations, and 7 written warnings. Things went really well out in Freedom. I just went to their township meeting tonight. So far, they seem to be happy. We're happy with the way things are going, so hopefully that continues in the months to come. Some of the things that we touched on out here, Officer Ammerman made another drug arrest off of a traffic stop that he had. I made an arrest for the illegal dumping on Glad Hill Road and also for some chainsaws that had been stolen last year.
Now, is that the dumping the diapers and stuff up?
Oh, no, this is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
It's still Glen Hill Road though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't the same person that dumped all that stuff over the last couple of months, but I don't know that for sure. But the big dumping problem where Mr. Kreiholtz and Mr. Barlow had to go up there and clean the mess up, that one we got the guy for. I filed some charges on him and
Can you divulge the charges that you did?
What's that?
Can you divulge to us the charges that you put forth?
Yeah, it was just, basically it falls under a littering charge, but because it was construction material, and I could give you the legal mumbo jumbo of it, I don't have it with me, but it rose to a misdemeanor instead of a summary offense due to the fact that it was taken from a construction site and that it was supposed to be in a vehicle that was supposed to convey it in a proper manner and yada yada yada.
Did he do this with malicious intent or
Oh, yeah.
an accident or
Oh no, it was no accident.
what was his motive?
Because his boss told him to take it to the dump and pay for it, and then his boss would reimburse him. So basically, I'm pretty sure what happened is he dumped it and then told his boss it cost him X amount of dollars, and he didn't have to give him a receipt. And I'm gonna surmise that's what happened.
That's all I need.
It's my educated guess.
I'm just curious why somebody got all the trouble of doing that.
A misdemeanor charge, will that mean he'll have to go before a judge
Mhm.
or not a trial magistrate, a judge?
Well, it starts out at the magistrate level. It's a preliminary hearing, and he can either choose to waive the preliminary hearing or have it, and if he has it, then, the Commonwealth, which is me, has to prove the prima facie case that there's enough, evidence to hold it over or bind it over for trial. At that point in time, he can either make a plea with the district attorney's office or have a trial. Probably what'll happen is he'll waive his preliminary hearing and then he'll make a deal with the district attorney's office, and that'll be that. So,
The 911 calls, that sounds like a high number. I don't have the previous months in front of me.
last month was about 20.
Was it that high? I thought maybe the snow might have had impact on the 911 calls.
No, that's a little bit lower than what we've been averaging. We average anywhere between 10 and 20 a month usually.
Okay, I just didn't recall those numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I have last month's in here. No, I don't, but yeah, I think last month was 20, I think, when I looked.
Alright.
So, what else did we do? We had the brakes, replaced on car one, and big shout out to Talcott's because they got me in there really quick for that. We did receive a metal plated vest that we can put in one of the cars that we have. It was given to us free of charge by Law Enforcement Officers Weekend. That's a name of a organization. They have a web page and a Facebook page, and they have fundraisers throughout the year, and I think try to do things for different police departments. And Officer Ammerman had seen that they had posted an opportunity through a company who makes armor-plated vests for officers, and they were giving away, I think it was either 4 or 5 of them for free, and he asked if we could put in for that, and he got some details from me about the community, the size of the community, and the size of the police department and stuff, and he sent them an email about it, and they got guys one, we're awarding you one right now. So that came, I think last week in the mail, so we'll get a shout out, a thank you letter out to them, and, they just asked that maybe we take a picture of it with their cruiser car so they can post it on their Facebook page, so.
Is
As
that
soon
a
as.
heavy cumbersome thing compared to the
Oh,
regular one?
yeah, ask Mr. Barlow, he picked it up.
You don't wear it around.
Now, if you would go out to like an active shooter call maybe,
Yeah.
or something like that, you could just, it's made to just throw one over top your bulletproof vest, and like I say, it's got an armor plate in it, so it'll stop like a 223 round or something like that, yeah. I wouldn't wanna wear it for more than about 2 minutes. But, yeah, maybe I should just put it on and walk around the building a couple times every day.
So Chief, all of your officers have bulletproof vests?
Yes, yes, yep.
If I may,
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a few questions about the new rifle.
Sure.
Has everybody been qualified for that now?
No, because we haven't gotten the ammo yet.
No
The ammo's
ammo.
ordered, but we don't have it in yet.
Alright, what about other things? Did you get an additional magazine?
Not yet, we haven't, no.
How about strap sights, holder in the car, did you have to,
It has
Retro.
sights on it.
okay, did you have to retro?
I haven't even tried it yet.
So you don't have anything in the car now?
No, we can't carry it until we've qualified with it.
Okay,
I did speak to Craig Hartley about it, and as soon as we have the ammo in, he's gonna qualify us with it. Matter of fact, probably go up to the Blue Ridge Sportsman's Club to do that, because Officer Ruse and I both recently joined, up there, so we'll have, the range, we'll be able to go up there and use their range. So he'll be able to go with us, and he'll be able to qualify us up there instead of in his backyard.
that's a decent range.
Good.
Yeah, I shoot up there too.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
And what else did I, oh, and Officer Herring, I don't know, can I, okay to say that she's no longer with us?
Yeah.
I guess since I just did, I can.
Yeah.
She, received an offer from Northern York County Regional Police Department in January for full-time employment with them, and it was actually a very good opportunity for her, and she chose to take that. And they do not let their officers work part-time for other police departments, ever, so, I wish her well, and I wish her success there. I hate to lose her, because I think she would have fit in really well here had she stayed, longer, but, so I've been in touch with her, and she seems to be, enjoying it there, and seems to be doing pretty good.
Good.
And I think that's all I have.
According to what she told me, they pretty much put her right out on the street.
She goes out with, she'll be in field training probably for at least 3 months, if not longer.
Okay.
But she's out on the street, yeah. She's just with the field training officer. I think she had like 3 or 4 days of just administrative things and getting some of their ins and outs and do's and don'ts down, and then, yeah, they put her right out then.
All right, then we'll go to the zoning report. There's not much to report on the zoning. Oliver Homes is building a single family, home over here on, Orchard, so they got a permit for that. Mr. Jackson over in, Risk area is putting up a pole barn. And then Mr. Herbst is putting a deck on his place, and then Mr. Alexander wants to replace his roof. So the zoning, land use permits total $360 in permits. We had one well permit for $50, in the township total $410 for the zoning. Okay, under our road department, we, of course, had another active month. We drove, total of 1,260 miles. A lot of those miles we put on the snowstorm, a couple of different snow squalls that we had. We used 102 gallons of diesel fuel, and that's an indication of the trucks that we were using to do the plowing, and 93 gallons of gas. In the township this past month, we also had a couple trees that we had to cut up that were down on the roads. We had one on the power line, or utility line that we had to address. We also went out in the township and marked dead trees along the Bullfrog Road and other areas in the township that are a potential danger to the residents and motorists driving along our roadways. We did have sent out for some quotes for signs. We from different sign companies, so we have those back. We're just making modifications to that. So we're not going to actually order anything at this present time, but we do have those. The bids for the road projects have been advertised. We are getting responses back from the different companies for base repair and also for Township and stuff like that. So as those people get back and get their bid packets back to us, then we'll be opening those bids. When do we make that? In March, next month, those bids will be open. I did have some people contact me today. They want to make a meeting next week to go over the roads. They want to actually come out and meet and go out and see the projects that we were doing before they put their bids in. So those are things we've got going on here in the township. Of course, we've got another storm supposed to be coming in this weekend with us. We are prepared to address that storm, whatever it brings us. Today we had to put new shoes on the 550. The other shoes got wore off at the last storm. So the trucks are both loaded and ready for the salt cinders on those. We had one stop sign knocked down from the snow plowing out at Orchard and 16. That sign has been put back up. I don't know that we had any other incidents in the township snow related that I can recall, but that's pretty much where we're at with that. We did move the backhoe, and this is a trial one to see what's going to happen. The backhoe has been moved to the lower shed to make room for the new police vehicle that's setting out in the bay. But if snow heat down there, so if it gives us a problem starting and stuff like that, we might have to do something different with that. But right now we're going to give it a shot and see what happens. And that's what I have for the road department. Oh, I want to miss HVAC has been installed. Wendy's HVAC works. Sherry's works. This one here is not working. I did get a call from the installer today. They ordered a new unit. This particular unit is not talking with the main compressor outside, so the company has agreed to replace the unit. So it's on order. He was hoping to come in today, did not. Now we're anticipating it won't be in until next week. So once they get those in, then hopefully we won't have any more problems with that, and we'll see a great significant drop in our electric bill, I hope. We'll see. But Jessica's the only one that does not have the pleasure of trying out the new units. Another thing you'll see if you go into Wendy's office has become my canvas. So I have started plastering the holes in the walls in there and doing some repair. And as I told Wendy, once we get the spackling all done and the sanding done, then we might look at somewhere later on painting her office because it's got holes all in that place. So anyhow, that's what has been going on here in the township as far as the road department.
Mickey,
Yes.
we're gonna talk about sending out the letters.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. We do have letters that we want to send out. The fire department contacted me. They had an emergency situation over on Bliss Trail here a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago actually. They had an ill person over there. They could not find the house because the house did not have the house number on the house and was not even identified. Back in, I think it was 2016, the township passed an ordinance that the residents needed to put up the green and white signs along the roadways to be able to identify their homes for the EMS and fire department. So the fire company has asked us to press that to get that taken care of. So what we're doing initially is how many homes are in Vista again? Did we say?
I think it was like 123 that we came up with.
123 letters.
Just in that area.
Just in that area that we wanted to send out.
Yeah.
Or we could do the whole township, which
Yeah.
would be like 579.
579, yeah.
In fact, so it's 123 letters to that particular area to send to them to let them know that there is an ordinance in place, they need to put these up. If we wanna do the whole entire township, again, they just told you what it was. What is the initial price, for that particular over there was what was the price for the stamps?
I have to do math. It's like 360, I think we said to do all of it. So, 123.
Yeah, it's like $320 to do.
$3.20 per sign.
$320
$320 per project.
$320 to send all the letters to all the residents
Oh,
of the
okay.
township.
And it's about $69 to do it.
Now, if we just wanna do the risk area, as she just indicated, $69. Another thing I had, Jessica, she looked into mass mailing. If we do mass mailing, there's a fee to do mass mailing in Adams County, it's $245, for mass mailing. But that's a yearly fee, is that correct? It's a yearly fee, so I don't know if that's something that we wanna entertain, doing a mass mailing a couple times a year. If so, it'd be cheaper for us to buy the mass mailing fee versus $320 for a one-time deal. Is that correct?
What, there's still postage on
Yeah, there's
it,
still
right?
postage that you have to pay, you just get a discounted rate.
Is it a discount?
So it's the $275 a year, and then it's still postage per piece of mailing,
Yeah.
but it's probably like 20 or 30 cents instead of 55.
It's like 55, so this reduced.
It'll be reduced from 55. I don't know what the
Yeah,
bulk
she didn't say
mailing-
exactly what the fee, what it
You
was.
need to find,
reduced
yeah,
rate.
we would need to find out what the stamp
I would
rate
say, I
is.
believe, the last time I used it was 20 cents.
20
but
cents,
I'm not-
but that was a
That was,
while back.
that was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Oh, okay, that's not too far back. Okay, so it'll be 20 cents instead of 55, but it's $275 a year.
245.
245.
Oh, 245.
Yeah, 245, subject to change yearly, which
Okay.
I need to.
Yeah, so-
So if we plan on doing several mailings a year, that'd be something to look at. We'd have to use it, I
Yeah,
think.
we have to use it, so that's where we're at. Right now, if we mail just the letters that she's already got prepared to go out, it's $69 to those residents. If we wanna do the whole township, it's $320. What's the feelings of the board?
Well, so it's $245 for the mass mailing, plus we'll say 30 cents. We'll
And
just go
plus you have
30
to
cents.
have 200 pieces of mail to qualify for that,
Okay,
so.
so if we did the entire township at $245 per year, and we could do it as many times as we want at 30 cents, we'll say 30 cents.
Yeah.
So that's about 150, well, $180, we'll say rounded up to 600 homes, correct?
Yeah.
Or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that, you're up about 4 1/4 for one mailing. But then you have the luxury of being able to mail as much as you want at 30 cents a pop for the rest of the year, correct?
Yeah.
But it has to be
And
two,
As long as it's bulk.
Yeah.
as long as it's bulk mail, you
200.
just can't.
More than 200
Yeah.
is bulk.
Yes.
Yes. And the only other huge mass mailing we do is the septic pump and letters.
Yeah, and that just ended,
Yeah.
so it'll be 2 more years.
Well, I missed that part.
We're not due to do another septic mailing for 2
Oh.
years, is what I'm saying.
How many people do we think don't have these signed? That's what the purpose of the letter is, signed.
Most
There-
everybody.
Most everybody, it's just the wrist trail part that caused the problem.
Well, the risk trail is what really caused a problem with the fire company. They couldn't find the house,
Yeah.
and because the number was not listed. And nobody in risk trail has them. And as I do my daily road checks, the majority of the people in the township do not have them.
Do not have them
Do not have them.
in our township?
Correct.
Then we should, I think,
Do the whole
send a letter to everybody.
Yes.
'Cause that's pretty important.
Yes, it is.
The fire, if you wanna get your house saved.
Right. And we had, so if we want to do everybody do a one-time deal, it's $320 in stamps and the mailing. So that
That's
was,
just for the mailing, we don't have the envelopes, do we?
We have that one.
Okay.
What's the letter say? I mean, is there a penalty if you don't have it, or you just take your?
I don't, did the ordinance have a penalty phase on it? I
I
think
don't
it
think
might
so.
have.
Do you think it does have?
Yeah, we'd have to check the ordinance
Yeah.
to be sure about, I'll have to look at the ordinance. We haven't been enforcing it.
Yeah.
I'm not so
enforce
sure,
it.
does the ordinance actually state that you have to have the green sign?
It doesn't say green and white,
Yeah.
it just says you have to have it, a certain sign of a certain
It's certain
size,
inches,
that it's,
yeah.
that it's, prominently displayed, it just describes that, it doesn't specifically say you need the green one.
Correct.
Yeah.
The ones the fire company were selling were green and white.
Are they still selling those?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. I was told that they were still selling them, they were originally $15 a piece, but some people that I spoke to said they bought those signs and never received their signs.
Cause it was Fountaindale, right? That's what the old letter said. It was Fountaindale that was selling those.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, this was Fairfield, cause I was one of
Cause
those
the letter
that,
that was sent out years ago.
And he
was
might be
that
one of those that
Fountaindale
didn't get a
sent
sign.
it.
I was one that paid and didn't get the sign, so I made the
That's-
note.
I knew it was him. Yeah, so, alright, so, does anyone wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, go for the bulk mailing permit and mail on the letter to everybody in the township.
You wanna do the bulk mailing permit then? You
Well,
gonna use it more than once?
What are other, do you have ideas of other things that we would be mailing?
No. I don't, and we haven't made a bulk mailing in a while.
No.
I mean,
No, I think this is pretty important, I agree with
I
Bob.
think we ought to get the letter out, whether we get the,
Now, if we get the letter, yeah, I agree with the letter, if we want, we can mail all the letters to everybody in township, it's $320 for the mailing.
Right.
That's straight out mailing.
Or we go 4 1/4 and thereabouts for everybody and keep the bulk mailing status for a year in case we want to send anything else out.
that's what I think.
Yeah, I think we ought to try that because I do believe that we have some important business that we do from time to time need to get to all our households.
And we have
Throughout the
something
year.
on the agenda tonight that we may wanna send bulk mailing out with that too. Right now, we've only hit certain people, and we've already sent those letters out to those people, but we may have to send more letters out, so.
You know, I agree, and there is a need to communicate certain things to the township, especially, as we were
Absolutely.
coming across this, codification. The one thing that's coming up, and it's coming up with YATV, is we don't know who the renters are. And we have an ordinance requiring that renters be listed, so that we can,
See, there's
and so that's something that we would need to send out to let people know if they're renting, they need to register with the township.
that could also be included with this particular bulk mailing.
I mean, that's a, yeah, so I mean, that would be. a
And anything
bulk
else
mailing
that
as
we deem, that we should consider before we just send out
Before we
something.
send the letter out, maybe that's true.
That's something we need to
That's a good idea.
discuss.
Cause there's a couple other things on our list tonight that we could include in our.
Absolutely.
I would like a bullet list of here are some items in the township, and it could be part of one mailing.
Right.
Well, we can also highlight some of the good things too.
Of course,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know,
like a summary.
You don't like my letter?
Or you could even send a copy of your letter.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could do like a
You could include your letter.
quarterly newsletter,
Do you see my monthly letter?
We
I
could
read every word of it.
right? I thought that's where you were going with that.
Well, yeah.
Something like
I
that.
am.
You can send out your letter,
That's free.
and then
I
on
know.
the back, do a bullet list of other items.
Well, communication is key. You know, during COVID, obviously we're limited and people aren't going to show up for obvious reasons. So, communications would be really good.
Yeah, and when
Alright, so we have a motion to do the bulk mailing
we,
at $2.45 plus postage. And I have a second, Bobby,
Mm-hmm.
all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, okay.
So, one question to that, then are you gonna, so Jessica is not to send that mailing out yet until you look at a letter and discuss the
Correct.
other items you want on there?
Correct.
Okay,
What do we have allocated for budget for postage this
not
year?
that much, we're gonna go
You
over,
just play that.
yeah, go on.
Okay. I don't know if there's anything else in the road department then. We will probably include the tree notification to all the residents in that same bulk mailing. That'd probably be a good time to do that. Okay. Planning board had a meeting on the 19th here at the township to discuss for their reorg meeting. Judy Hogan, Rich Paquette, and Bob Rupert were present. And the other members, a couple of them joined them by Zoom, and then the one member was not available to be here. But they discussed the Holmes property. He presented sketches of his property he wants to combine together And then, the February 16th, meeting is canceled, so we will not be having a planning board meeting on February 16th. Is anyone on here from planning board? Oh, okay. So we're gonna move on to Wendy's secretary treasurer's.
Okay, thank you. As you see in my email, I have 5 times for the census boundary review.
Yeah,
Are you familiar with that? Mr. Keiholt and Mr. Jackson both said that someone should review that and not just let it up to county. So I was wondering who is gonna review that?
You didn't come through, I couldn't hear what you said.
The census boundary review email I sent out, you said, I believe a supervisor should review this and not just let it up to county. You sent an email to that effect, and I believe Mr. Kyle.
yes, he did.
So I was wondering which of the supervisors is
Well, I
volunteering.
want to talk to you about that.
Okay,
What is provided to us
it's
and
just
aid
a,
us in doing a review.
in that email, there's a link that shows us the boundaries that they're proposing. So we can look at that and maybe talk to county. We've never done it here before, so I'm not familiar with it either, because we always said, let's just let county take care of it.
This, but what's the subject?
The census.
The census
census.
boundaries.
Yeah, the census boundaries.
That part.
It's basically they're seeing if any of your properties have changed
Yeah.
in the boundaries over the years. Like we may lose some if they build a house on the line and now it's in Highland and
Right.
now the whole property goes to Highland, they're gonna change the boundary. You know,
Yeah, we haven't had that problem yet, but we have the issue over at the, campground over on Bullfrog, but we can't, that's in here somewhere, with the agreement we made with those
Right.
guys, but that
right.
would that fall under the census boundary, John?
No, no, that's just for tax.
That's just for the tax thing, as everything said, so,
Laurel,
So-
Trail.
we're not even talking about that, so, what'd you see there?
Well, like the one that we have coming up now, where a woman's gonna build her house. She has a Liberty Township parcel that crosses the municipal lines.
This is true.
And she's gonna build her house in Highland, and that's gonna take the parcel out of Liberty. Because then it will be taxed in Highland, because the primary residence is in Highland.
You
The
know,
mansion house is in Highland.
Yeah, there you go.
because we have that situation, we do have that situation over at Friends Creek. We have, a resident who lives there at the top of the hill. Her property is across Friends Creek in Liberty Township, but Carroll Valley cuts the taxes off her.
But where's her house?
Well, her house is supposed to be in Liberty Township, but she had a choice, somebody gave her a choice for your taxes.
Yeah, I don't
In
understand that.
Liberty Township or Carroll Valley, but at the time she chose Carroll Valley. Guess what? That's
I'm
where
not
she's
happy
at.
with that.
That's where she's at now, so.
Right, I'll take the higher taxes, please.
So, all right.
So, yeah, who wants to do it? I will look at the email, we can look at the email together, and perhaps whoever reviews it at county, you could talk to them, and we could see what resources are available for the township to look at, if one of you wants to volunteer on.
I'll step up, I'll do that.
Okay,
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
and then the codification, I got the codification back for the draft review, and previously when we were working on the preliminary stages of the codification, Mr. Barlow was helping me with that, and I was wondering if he was gonna continue on in this phase, if he still had time, or if somebody else.
I ain't got nothing else to do, I'm out of school.
But, and also, it's only available online,
Oh, I don't have time.
and everyone, but all of you are going to need to review it online eventually, because, if you need us to print it out, Jessica and I can get together and I guess print out all the pages for you.
What are we reviewing?
The
The
codification,
codification, the
What?
entire,
ordinance,
all
I mean,
the
that's-
ordinances,
That's 100,000 words.
Yeah.
We're reviewing the whole thing
yeah.
for any particular purpose, just to see if we find mistakes.
Because it's gonna go before you and you're gonna approve it, so
Yeah,
you're gonna have to.
that's reviewing every ordinance that we've ever made.
Yes,
well,
Is that something that, and John's here, let's,
well,
solicitors
you'll have
here,
to
is that-
review it as well.
You gotta review.
Yeah, but they're gonna have it compiled.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's gonna be in a book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
can I repeat the book?
But it's not gonna go to the book until after we adopt it.
But even so, every ordinance that we've looked at so far has a lot of complexities that we have to carefully consider. It's gonna be kinda, I mean, all I can do is leaf through 10,000 pages and say I approve, but
I'll work on it with you.
Okay, well,
Is that something as a board that after we individually look at it at home and sit down and discuss it and see what we see together jointly as an overview?
well,
Is
well,
that
then we
something
have
we
a
can
hearing,
do?
then we have a hearing, we advertise it.
Yeah, but all it really is when they say codification, it's just taking the ordinance we have.
Mhm.
Like it might say ordinance number 6 of 2010. They're gonna take that ordinance and let's suppose it's a nuisance ordinance. I don't know if you have a nuisance, but let's suppose it's a nuisance ordinance. They're gonna take that ordinance and instead of being ordinance number 6 of 2010, it will now be chapter 24 in your book. And instead of having section 1, it will say 24-1 and 24-2. So they're really not,
we're
you
not.
know, they're not changing the ordinance. I mean, so that, I mean, you can read every ordinance, but that's not necessary.
I would suggest that you skim through to see if there are any ordinances that you weren't familiar with before, because I'm sure there were a lot of ordinances that we added that maybe were passed before the current board was here. We did look at it significantly before when we discovered that we had that renting ordinance that we weren't aware of before, where they need to register. So maybe it's just since you did already look at it and before the draft, it's not, you don't read it word by word, just look at, get an overview of it.
Yeah, I think that,
You
have
just
to
look through
define
what
a little
they've
bit
done.
what we're trying to approve.
Right.
So just because we approved it in the book doesn't mean that we approved every part of every ordinance.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Barlow will work with that, work with you on that. Thank you.
Well, anything else with you?
No, I'm done, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to old business. We have Natalie Rand's reimbursement request here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna table this again, for another discussion. We're gonna reach out to Natalie, and talk with her specifically about this bill, that she submitted to the township before, we take any action on that. Does the other supervisors agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna table it. Alright, as I already told you about the updates on the roads and the bid packets are out. And people are starting to get back with us on that. The HVAC, I already told you about that. So those are the projects that are updated, so we'll give them that. Let's move on to public comments for the second time. Is anyone with us that wants to speak in the public comment section? Okay, supervisors?
We tabled one, this up in the first section there about this, arms presentation.
Yeah, we took it off.
I understand that,
Okay.
but I'm thinking, if he comes in here and just tells us how good arms is, that's not gonna solve the problem or the question. How about if we gave him some sort of thing? I don't know whether he's looking for a fixed amount of money or a fixed number of houses or what. And I'm wondering if, rather than delay it, because right now, I don't think I have ambulance coverage from, well, I got it from Fairfield, but it expired at the end of the year, I believe.
Well, what they did is back in, I don't know what happened with you particularly, Bob, but what Arms did is back in May,
Yeah.
the Arms sent out the pledge cards just like Fairfield, but it was under Arms. So you had in June, send your pledge cards back. If it was a household, it was 100. An individual, I think it was 50 or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't, maybe you missed the pledge card. I don't know.
I don't remember sending any money to them, and
Okay.
I'm concerned that the next time for enrollment will be July.
It'll be May.
And
It's usually May.
May, if I get carted off to the hospital, that's a hell of a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
And I would like to sign up, or at least sign up through the township, and I thought your idea was a good one to have,
Well, we did not have him come in tonight He did send us, we got him the information he needed as far as how many homes we had in
Yeah,
the town.
oh, okay,
And he gave us a price for $50 a household.
yeah.
If you calculated the $50 per household, we were still looking, in the neighborhood, well, there's two different numbers there originally.
We were going with the 579.
The 579 was what we were
So
going
it's
with.
$28,950 to cover the entire township.
That's for us to incur a township.
So that part has been done, and we have to decide, listen to him and decide whether we wanna do that.
Correct.
Okay,
The thing is, we took it off the agenda tonight, but just because of what we had, other things we had going on, and snow and stuff like that, we didn't wanna run him out in case of that. But the 28,000 was a little bit more than what we anticipated in price for one. So now we gotta rethink this whole thing, cause even if we, this past year, if we made a donation to them, the donation was about 20,000. So it's about $8,000 more than what we were planning on donating in the first place. If we wanna go this direction, we may have to look at a different way of financing it. So that's another thing we have to consider, and, we're just gonna table it till next month, because like I said,
well, I wanted to make sure you got those numbers to him so that he could, because if he was figuring out $100 or 1,000 homes or something that we didn't have, then we'd have to start do that all over.
right, cause I think somebody came up with a number of 425.
County
That was
did,
from county,
because
correct?
county was, we have two different housing numbers, and when county gave us the number, they were only talking about houses on less than 10 acres. But we have other properties that are on different size parcels, and that was total to 579.
So this total number counts the risk trail group?
Yeah,
Because, yeah, it counts.
every household,
Okay, tax-paying household.
Yeah.
Any idea how many ambulance calls we have in Liberty Township in a year, average?
Right, yeah, he gave that to us this past year, and it was, well, it was a lot. It was quite a few in our
Like
town. I don't remember
more
what-
than a dozen,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, it averages that a month almost.
Yeah, it was more than that, yeah, it
so
was,
a couple hundred maybe.
I'd say at least 100. Wendy does have that information, I don't have.
Okay, well, as long as we have it,
We
because,
do have.
because if we only had one or two a year, it would be one thing, if we had 500 a year, that's something quite.
Well, the arms ran 80% of the calls, if I believe, in the township.
that's why they had the high number when we were gonna do the fire tax distribution,
Yeah,
they
there's
had a
like-
very high percentage
Yeah,
of
they were
response.
very high, it's like 80% of the
Okay, well,
calls.
that's, I wanted to make sure we were, it gave us some,
Like I said, so there's the number, we're looking at between about $30,000 that we wanna pay for every household in the township that has coverage, gets in this group. I think that's something we have to
you
consider.
say we were thinking of 20,000 this year for
This
this,
past year, when we wanted to give them a donation, the number was figured out,
which we didn't do,
which
did
we
we?
didn't do, we couldn't because of the budget. They declined to, but, it's under EMS tax, and we could do a different tax and call it EMS tax, and that's a whole different thing. So I think we probably need to reconsider how we wanna work this, if we wanna do that.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure we.
Yeah, and they do have the numbers,
Very brief.
Yeah, and this is something else that we may consider, think about, once we kind of wade through all the ins and outs of it, is to put in some of this bulk mail and get a citizen's response. Because ultimately, it's gonna be a tax in some way. I mean, nearly $30,000 out of their pocket doesn't work real well with their budget.
but one thing does work, and Bob's got a good idea on this too. If, say, myself, what I did for my home, this past year, for a single home, a family coverage is $100 a year, for ARMS. But ARMS was giving it to us for $50 a home, so that's half price. So if the township wants to do that, again, you can let the residents know, so this, if we do it through the township, it's $50 a year versus $100, so you're gonna save $50.
Well, also, you're gonna have a certain percentage of the total households
Don't wanna do it
that
at all.
don't do it at all anyhow.
Yeah.
What about, like, some
But-
people's insurance covers it though, like ours does, if we have an ambulance call, they send us the check directly and we are responsible for sending it to
Correct.
the ambulance.
That's correct. The thing is, some insurance companies doesn't cover the full amount, and you have to pay the difference or whatever, like deductible. ARMS, the way they presented their thing with us is, if we do the household membership, they're still gonna bill your insurance company. but they're not gonna bill you for the deductible.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yep.
So, and some people don't have insurance at all, and the insurance that you have don't have everything's covered on it. So then, an average call for ours to run a call out here, pick you up, take you to the hospital is about $1,200.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where we're at. So we have to figure out if we wanna do this for the service of the township, how we wanna go about it. If we notify the residents, like when this bulk bill, say, hey, you know, it's $50 versus $100 if you go to the township, that means we're gonna have to adjust the taxation to cover that $30,000. They can come out and say, yeah, we want you to do that.
That's a good subject for your mass mailing.
Yeah. There you go, put that on the,
There you go.
part of that. See that letter is getting bigger and bigger all the time.
It looks like, we're reinstating a newsletter and you're.
We're gonna get our money's worth.
Yeah, we don't get the money's worth out of that, so, any other questions on that particular subject? I didn't wanna be amiss, I definitely wanted to address, Sherry has put together a police department, policy and procedure manual. We have reviewed it a little bit. Sherry, of course, you know, we just got them today.
Oh, I know.
So we're definitely gonna table those and, review those, and then, come back with, comments and suggestions on it later date on this particular manual and, but I wanna make sure we did that, so. Alright, I'm gonna make a motion that we table it, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna move to the, one other thing before I move on to the new business. I have, in front of me here, we have certificates of appreciation, for people that have served, this past, couple of years or even more than that in our township that we will be presenting to, different ones of the residents. The supervisors have signed the certificates of appreciation, so, we'll be getting these out to each and every one of the individuals, here within the next week or so. But we do have, 4 of them here that we will be presenting. Okay, now we're gonna move on to new business. First of all, we have a junkyard permit for Mr. Dale Piper. He did submit a new permit. It has been reviewed and, I have signed the approval of it, and so has, our zoning officer, Clint Millett. So, we don't want to present that to you. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve his junkyard permit, according to the new, fee schedule at $1,000.
Question,
Go ahead.
has he seen it yet, or does he know it?
He already gave us $1,000.
That's my question.
And he resubmitted a new
And
form
we
with
submitted,
$1,000.
we get resubmitted.
He's ready, I met with him personally and talked to him.
Yeah, so he's aware of everything now.
Okay.
So, I'll make a motion that we, grant him his junkyard permit for 2021.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I just have one thing, and that will expire within 12 months, correct? Because there's a weird thing in the ordinance that says that the junkyard permit runs from July to July. So can we have that approved where it will expire 12 months from the date of issue?
Yes.
Because you paid the $1,000 annual fee.
Oh, he paid.
So it doesn't come back up again in 6 months.
Yeah, he paid the junkyard permit fee on, January the 18th. It was, cleared by the zoning officer on the 20th, and then today, I guess, today's the revision, so it'll be effective today.
So in his letter, we'll say his permit is good until
February.
February 10, 2022.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, we're gonna reappoint Jessica to the tax collector position retroactively January 4th. I forgot to do that. So Jessica, reappointing you as a tax collector, for 2021. Do you accept the appointment?
I do.
Okay,
So you're making the motion?
I made the motion that we reappoint her. Do I have a second?
You have it.
You have it. All in favor?
Aye.
Good, thank you. And she has her paperwork to rerun for the position. Okay, the tax, as we talked about earlier, we're going to do an audit of the tax collector, the prior tax collector. And, what's the name of the firm, the CPA firm?
Hamilton Musser.
Hamilton Mustard has agreed to do that, and they would give us, an idea of what the cost would be prior to them moving forward. Any questions?
Nope.
So that's the motion I made, do I have a second on that?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Workman's compensation for the fire companies, everybody had an opportunity to read the agreement. This is our portion of the fire tax, fire workman's comp, per the agreement that was drawn up in 2011.
I read it and I make a motion we accept it.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have some estimates now for the gutters out front, down alongside the buildings. Does everybody have an opportunity to look at the gutters?
Well, it would be all gutters on this building, the one I got,
Right,
and then this one down here,
that's correct. But that's the same, both of them are the same.
right? Okay.
Both of them for the same thing. It's for 3/4 inch guttering, 6-inch white seamless guttering with 3/4 downspouting. For the block building, this entire building here. One price is $1,700. The other price is $25.76.
Go ahead.
The bidders are Next Generation Exteriors at $1,700 and Allen Weeder Restorations for $25.76.
Is the work the same, the scope of the work?
Yes,
Same gutters,
same thing. Yeah.
same product?
Yep.
The one difference being something we should consider is leaf guard.
Yes, that's right.
Leaf guard through new generation, I know, because I'm getting it done at my house, is an additional $4.50 a foot.
Can that be installed afterwards, retrofitted, or should it be put in when the gutters are put in?
It'll be a different price if they have to come back, I'm sure.
How many dollars are we talking about?
Well, I didn't measure it. I can get I did measure it, and it doesn't give a measurement.
I'm interested in how well they work, because, I've tried them years ago, and they didn't work worth a damn, but that was years ago. They've claimed now they've significantly improved.
I tried some on my house 20 years ago, and I just recently took them off, just this past a month or two ago. And they were a plastic setup that I installed myself. They work well, other than the fact that they do allow, if you have shingles, allow the grit to get into the spouting, and then it builds up over time. And so you got to flush that out periodically. But with these metal roofs, you don't have that issue.
Anyway,
I mean, you're confident enough in the product to do the job, so you're putting it in your own house.
Well, if the thing that I'm thinking with this building and the new building, as far as the gutter wall and the side of this building over here is, if we don't have gutter guard, the issue being, in my eyes, is what leaves that do flush down and get through. We have underneath this blacktop all piped down so it goes to the road instead of across the blacktop. So I don't know what's the lesser of two evils. So
Well, we certainly don't want to have to dig the road up there.
well, no, Mr. Roto-Rooter would have to help us.
I believe this building is 80 feet across.
Okay.
And you've got front to back, that's 160 feet just for this building.
Mm-hmm.
$4.50 is $720.
Okay. And
How
then
many
what-
dollars?
And then
$720.
you got this out here, and
Yeah.
more importantly, as you know, the salt shed,
Yeah.
because that's sitting up there
Oh, yeah,
close,
that.
close to the
That
trees.
ladder, that 40-foot ladder you're gonna make me climb?
Right. I'll hold it for you, Bob. But
I'll call the ambulance.
So we're
Now, tell
talking
me, can you
seven,
register?
how many dollars are we talking about?
Just for this building, it's about $720,
So probably double that then.
yeah,
probably.
I think it's a good investment for, if, unless it gets plugged up with leaves and won't work, we have to clean the gutters anyway, you don't think that.
That'd be about approximately $1,450 for gutter guard.
So did you wanna, award the gutters with an allowance of $1,500 or such for the guards? Or do you wanna put a cushion in there for installation? I don't know if it would be more for
Well,
installation.
you're right, if we do it all at one time, it's probably cheaper.
You would have to say, and allow for $1,750 for gutters.
Yeah, well, I need to do a little negotiating with the guy about it,
Yeah,
see if he'd do it. I think that's a,
well, and the nice thing is, if we go to 6-inch gutters,
yeah.
that's all fine and well, your leads go through pretty much. The problem being, now you have a 3x4 downspout.
That's,
And
that's no good.
so, you know, that's the issue, along with what goes under our blacktop. So I, you know, Mickey and I have cleaned out the back of the salt shed a couple of times this year, but that front we didn't get to because,
I ain't going up that way.
well, not till we get that
I'm
lift.
gonna go that ladder.
When we get that lift, we're gonna do it.
Oh, I think it's good facility maintenance that if,
Well, I think it is too, and I think it's in the best interest of the township to do that.
Yeah.
I do.
I do too. Well, would you say put allowance in there for the,
When you make the motion, give an allowance, and then, or then we'll have, so we can, award the bid that way, or something to that effect.
other than that,
I'll make a motion that we accept New Generation's bid for the spouting and, put an allowance in there of $1,750 for gutter guard, should we decide to do that.
Oh, okay, we'll do 1750, so you're, okay,
Well, CYA,
okay.
I mean, you know, I'm gonna work on it because he's gonna do mine too, and we're next door neighbors, so.
and then we don't have to postpone it.
Right,
The way we can go ahead without having a,
well, I don't know, in the next week or two, I suspect, depending upon snow and so forth, he's gonna come do mine at my house, so.
Right,
good.
so that'd be 3450 total,
That's for everything.
okay. All right, I have a motion for 3450 for gutter guard and the gutter for New Generation, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. All right, our next one is, I'm not a sync now.
The Hamilton Band,
Yep, I'm not a sync, hold on here.
and that, the resolution number is 05, not 04, by the way. But that doesn't really matter, unless you're announcing it.
Okay, resolution, yeah. All right, so the resolution for Hamilton Band, to give us services to mow along our roads. The Hamilton Band Board on January 19th reviewed the request and approved it. At a rate of $119 an hour. That includes the man and the tractor and the mower. So they have signed the resolution, and they're asking for us to sign accepting the resolution. I'll make a motion, we accept this resolution, and they'll start work when we sign it, get it back to them. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
alright.
Okay, when do you have that one that we
Yeah,
can
I have it
sign?
right here.
And we'll sign that tonight and, get that to Hamilton Band, that way we can get this on the road. Before they take their mower off. And then we'll be done. So,
And here is the actual agreement.
uh,
Oh, you already signed it, I didn't.
Gotcha.
Never mind.
thank you. All right, so while you guys are signing that, we'll move over to, the phone bid. Phone telephone proposal, has anyone had an opportunity to look at the phone
Yeah,
proposal?
I got a couple of questions.
Direct that to those girls.
That's all of us out here. with
I said those,
Suffering.
I did say those girls. Since your question goes to them, I don't know.
Suffering employees.
I have nothing, I don't know nothing about this telephone, but it don't work.
It was never
Ask
worked.
away.
Well, I think we need a different telephone system. My question is,
Amen.
I did call, I never heard of Advantage. I called Comcast and I called CenturyLink. Or I checked references, not references, people I know who are using Comcast, specifically Carroll Valley. And they're very happy with the service they're getting out of Comcast. I hate Comcast as an organization, and I've talked to them frequently in the last couple of weeks, but they do provide a fairly good service and they are pretty big. I called CenturyLink and guess what? They don't answer the telephone. And I've called them twice. She finally called me back after about 2 weeks and called me when I was out shoveling snow. I wasn't very happy to hear her talk. I said, 2 weeks for a telephone company to answer the telephone, and down at the airport we're having fits with CenturyLink. So I would be strongly in favor of going with Comcast, but my question is this, has to do with the internet. As I understand the thing here, it's $300 including the phone and the internet service, is that correct?
Yeah, they do like a bundle package, so they offer
Bundle
that
package?
as well.
Now, what, do we get a bundle package with CenturyLink?
No, I asked them and they only gave me phone prices, and it took me a while to get a response from them.
But if we went with the CenturyLink's a little cheaper, a few bucks, if we went with them, what would we do for internet? We'd have to stay with Comcast?
That's who we currently have.
And would that interfere with our relationship with Comcast or the
No,
entire?
I don't think it would affect it because we currently don't have our phone system through Comcast, we just have internet service, so.
Oh, okay.
So my question on that then, as far as what are we paying right now for internet?
It's up at the top, Jessica put it at the top, we're paying $290,
Oh, okay.
8 by 8.
So we're gonna be paying $13 more to go to Comcast, and that would include the phone lines.
I am against Comcast, personally.
You're
Because
against
I gave Comcast Vantage's bid, and they said, we can't beat that, but we can give you better the guy said, I don't wanna bid on that, but I'll give you better internet service for a decent price.
Wait a minute.
Because every
Who's
3 or 4 weeks, a different person from Comcast contacts me and says, hi, can I give you a bid?
Who's giving us better service with the CenturyLink?
I'm sorry, I didn't speak to CenturyLink. I was just speaking about my relationship with Comcast.
Okay. I'm not sure what your point is. What are you trying to tell us?
I was
She
saying,
doesn't
I'm
like Comcast.
personally frustrated with Comcast, that was all.
What is the alternative?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe we need to wait on this then. What are our real questions here?
Well, there's a question of service and reliability, and if you have trouble with Comcast, then it's disqualifying as far as I'm concerned, but I have had a lot of trouble with Comcast, and those people are crazy. I mean, I'm on the negotiating team. The left hand and the right hand don't know what they're doing, and I could regale you for 15 minutes with this stupid responses I've gotten from them, but that has to do with extending service to new customers, not with service to the existing customers.
But you said you spoke to some other municipalities about Comcast?
I spoke to Carroll Valley.
Okay, so you spoke to Carroll Valley, and perhaps it's just our business relations manager that I'm having issues with, and not the services.
I don't know who that is, but we can explore it a little further. The dollar difference is so small that I think we could go either way.
Most everybody in the township surrounding us use either Comcast or CenturyLink. Everybody pretty much has said that. I don't know of anybody using the third alternative, but they have a decent price as well.
Wait a minute, now you're gonna have to speak up and tell me what you just
I
said.
said most of all the surrounding townships either use Comcast or
Yeah.
CenturyLink. That's what they responded that they use.
Mhm.
So
I personally have Comcast and I'm somewhat satisfied with them. They treated me pretty good.
I have Comcast too.
They're expensive
Yes,
Yeah,
and they're unapologetic
yes.
and they're a pain in the neck.
The customer service is pretty bad, but you're.
Customer,
well, we're looking for a service that's reliable.
yeah,
I think that we need to cut to that chase rather than,
yeah.
and then look at pricing, but I don't know, I'm not familiar with CenturyLink, so I can't speak to that.
I am. They were,
Does it includes fax?
So they all had to include fax line. Jessica,
Yeah.
Vantage didn't charge us for, activation fee?
No, I asked them specifically that.
So
and
there's
said
no
charge.
activation
No.
fee with the Vantage?
Does anybody have Vantage around here?
No, it's more of a business service. It came over as a recommendation from the IT.
Well, we can do a little further investigating, or we can take a crapshoot. But you're not too pleased with Comcast.
Well,
I
we
don't know.
pick up the phone out in the shop to make a call about something and it's dead.
Yeah, that's the horrible thing. The service we have now is so expensive and so bad. I'm desperate to change, but honestly,
I've got a question.
this is very hard for me to make a decision.
So, if we go with Comcast, or we go with any three of these, is there a contractual agreement that we're locked into?
I doubt whether any of
I
them
don't think
require
so,
that.
no. They didn't
I-
state that.
I don't think, if they're not fulfilling the terms of their agreement, they can't be, we can't get locked into that.
Yeah.
The
It's
reason
just
we would quit,
activation fees for.
we would
certain-
reason we would quit using them is if it didn't work. and we
Well,
picked
like I
up-
say, so we could go with Comcast and try them out, see that if they give a problem, we can switch.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so what is this? They want, and then it's $250 activation fee.
Correct.
Yeah. But reliability is the key part of it, as you
True.
said, Bobby.
Yeah.
If the phone doesn't work, we can't have that.
I would say my phone service, when I had phone service at the farm in CenturyLink, it would cut off and I would have static in my phone for days and days and I'd call them out there and they'd say it's a line problem, it's not our problem. So we finally switched to Comcast and guess what? I ain't had problems since.
About 3-4 years ago, maybe 5, I was having trouble with my line between this pole out here and my house. They sent a crew in, spent 2 days and pushed a new line the whole way up underneath my driveway, right up.
Who did? Comcast?
Comcast
Yeah,
did.
Century didn't do that.
Yeah, they, I think there was a couple of times we called and they said, well, we're coming out and putting in a new line. Boom, they did it.
Comcast, CenturyLink told me straight out, they will never put a new line in.
Yes, I have horrible trouble with my internet at home for CenturyLink.
Because they told me because my house sits at the end of the line, right?
Yeah.
They won't want to do line, period. All right, I'll make a motion that we go with Comcast,
Okay,
and give them a try anyhow, see what happens.
can we make sure they understand that they're on trial? I don't know who you're gonna be dealing with, or,
Just,
Jessica will check to see if there's a contract. Right?
well,
Yeah, they didn't state that at all.
Right.
But
So make
tell
sure
them-
you
tell
do
them-
Monthly.
that we have reservations because of quality of service.
Okay.
And if they can't produce the service that we're contracting for, they're not gonna give us a hard time about bailing out.
all right, so I made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, next one you have is H, is your tree ordinance. We have this tree ordinance, and the reason we have the tree ordinance according to second class code, which is in front of you on the tree ordinance, section 2907. For us to be able to enforce, removal of dead trees along the township roads, anything over 6 inches in diameter, we must adopt an ordinance to do that. I have letters already gone out to residents along Bullfrog Road. There's, how many letters did we send out, Jessica? 4, 5?
Yeah, 5.
5 letters. Trees that are dead and diseased along the road are ready to fall. So for us to enforce those letters, we have to pass an ordinance. That ordinance is in front of you tonight. It stipulates, as I said, the second class code, giving us the authority to request them to remove these trees before it hurts someone. The number 1 on that ordinance, do you have the ordinance in front of you, Rob? Okay. It's a removal of disease and dangerous trees. It's just not any tree, it's actually specifically to trees that mean the danger to the welfare and safety of the public. The notice is in there, notice, you give them 30 days notice, it's certified mail, they return receipt, and then the cost of taking the tree down is the property owners. If they do not do it, and the municipality has to do it, the municipality has the ability under the penalty section of the ordinance to bill them for the cost of removing the tree and any legal expenses we have. So, go ahead, Mr. Lister, you had something to say?
Well, there's two versions. There's also another one that provides for criminal penalties.
Right,
So either one you want, you can, in that one, you would also be able to collect the costs from them if you had to go on the property and cut down the tree.
correct.
You don't have to enact one with criminal penalties, that's up to you, you can do either one.
And the thing about it that I think Jason thought about that, and I think Wendy and I did talk about this too. If we don't have a criminal penalty part in there, what happens if we get to a point where a person won't pay us for the tree removal and we have no other recourse except take it to court? Now we got money right up in court. So if they don't comply with the ordinance, we have no enforcement power.
Well, what you would, alright, let's suppose you tell them to cut down the tree, they don't do it, you go on the property, you cut down the tree, you have costs. They don't pay you, then we file a municipal lien on their property. And then when their property is sold, you can either wait till it's sold and collect on it, or since you have a municipal lien, you could foreclose on their property and have a sheriff's sale of it.
Right.
That's a civil route. There's a lot of expense involved there. You got
Right.
sheriff's fees,
Right.
they're $1,500 in Franklin County, I don't know what they are in Adams, probably the same. If you have the criminal section in there, if they don't do it, you could have the chief or one of the part-time officers go out and say, hey, either cut this tree down or it's a criminal offense, we're gonna have to cite you and take you to court. I'm sure the chief and the officers probably would use discretion if the people say, oh, give me some time, 30 days, I'm sure they won't charge them. So
That's the difference.
That's the difference. You
And that would be-
you have the police officer.
Yeah, she has the power to enforce it, the other way she does not. But my recommendation is we adopt the first one that has the penalty phase in it.
That has the criminal penalties in
The
it.
criminal penalty phase in it also, just for our protection, because I believe to send our officer out and for her to go through the magistrate's a lot cheaper than for us going through civil.
Yes, I agree.
It'll be a lot cheaper going that way. We have to impose this year, or we can't enforce the second class code of 2907. And that's why we're doing it, that's why I had Mr. Lisco to draft this up.
Now, at
Any-
this point, are we moving forward with the whole advertising and all that?
Yeah, we'll have to have, the next three, the motion tonight would be to authorize
Yeah.
staff and solicitor to prepare.
Any,
Start.
Mr. Jackson, do you have any comments on that? Mr.
No.
So I make a motion that we advertise this ordinance, for the tree removal. Do I have a second?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have a couple of other ordinances here, so, we'll just go right down the line. The next one is our driveway ordinance. The driveway ordinance has been amended. We found in the driveway ordinance, that it did not, we have two different ordinances, unfortunately, that, in our
The solid-
saldo plan, and in our standalone ordinance, they contradicted each other. So we had to clean them up, and this one here is to clean up the two of them. Particularly it specifies, instead of being to the discretion of the roadmaster, the size of the pipe, that, and this is section number 1, that the culvert pipe would be a 15-inch pipe minimum that would be put in for drainage. Section number 3, that is, the driveway should be paved a minimum of 4 feet back from any part of the road that it bumps up to, and also that the driveway be a minimum of 25 feet in width. The old one did not have the 25 foot and did not have the 15-inch round. So,
But is this allowing for 2 driveways now or not?
You know, that's in there too.
yeah, and also, that was the problem too, our one driveway said that you had to get a waiver from the township to have more than 2 driveways. The saldo says you were allowed to have 2 driveways. Now, we put in here in section 4, it says no more than 2 driveways should be permitted per lot on any one-way highway or street frontage. So, this ordinance here is actually to clean up the saldo ordinance and the standalone driveway ordinance.
You're talking about the 25-foot width
Right, yeah, when you pull off the.
Entrance or
Entrance.
not the whole driveway?
No, entrance.
Okay,
Yeah, entrance.
got it.
All right, so, make a motion that we, advertise this driveway ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, our next one is our junkyard ordinance. So the junkyard ordinance, this is another one we revised and cleaned it up, made it a little bit more helpful for us to be able to enforce, the junkyard ordinance, because the other one, we had no enforcement powers very much. So, in here, it specifically states, that it's 1 year, that your license is effective for 1 year from the date issued. Also, what we did in here too is, if you're not in compliance, and you fail to complete the required information on the driveway application, the junkyard application will be denied, no license should be issued. Also, that if you're found to be in, where's it at? Application, if you're in violation of the ordinance during the preceding term of the license, applicant shall be described in detail in the violation committed, and under this here, we would have the option not to renew the license. I'll make a motion that we advertise this new adoption to the driveway ordinance.
Second.
Junkyard ordinance. Second, all approved?
Aye.
All right, let's see, that's that. Tax upset sales distribution. That there is where, Mr. Paul Kellett went into the tax sale and he purchased a piece of property that was in foreclosure. My speculation from looking at it, I don't know exactly the parcel number is 25AD 0-0061. I believe that's a property in the Risk Trail area. So he has brought this for tax, and we need to approve.
Well, we have the ability to object to the distribution of, and it looks like we're gonna get paid our taxes, so I don't know why we wouldn't object, so.
Yeah,
I just need to make a motion that you don't want me to file a petition objecting to the distribution of the tax sale. I think the name of the property owner was Carol
Carter,
Carter, okay.
Pamela Carter,
Okay,
yeah, from Washington DC. So I make a motion that, Mr. Lister does not intervene in the tax sale of this particular property. I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, thank you very much. The last thing we have on our agenda tonight,
Next to last.
No, it's the last, isn't it?
No, I got one more that's not on there.
oh, yeah, he does, that's what I forgot about that. Alright, so this here is, it's D.L. George, release form. This release form came about because I had spoken to Mr. John George from George and Sons. They have the equipment, and also other materials that we can use, they've offered to let us use in the township, to, do maintenance along our roadways, specifically tree cutting and tree trimming back. And, they said they would let us do that, but they would need a release in case we were using their equipment and someone got hurt, they would not be liable. That is what this is here, this in front of you, yes.
I'm sorry, so Eric Bergdale did respond to me this evening.
Okay.
Let me just go get that for him.
Yeah, I see that.
He's
I didn't-
on and off about covering that.
Well, while she's going to get that,
Yeah, let's go with that.
we got an offer from Generac, our backups generator here,
Yeah,
for a 5, 7, and 10-year parts and labor warranty with no deductibles. And just to read out the amounts, 5-year will cost us $524.70. 7 years is $842.70. 10 years is $1,054.70. Just want to bring that up and to the board for discussion and approval or disapproval, whichever we decide. Personally, I can say I'm not a big fan of extended warranties.
not either.
So do I have a motion to
Go to trash.
put this in the trash?
I make a motion that you discard that
Is that the extended warranty?
into the proper canister.
I'll second that, thank you.
Wendy,
All in favor?
Yes.
statement of
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, I didn't know exactly what the piece of equipment was. Is it a truck? What is it? So that might affect what he's saying, and I sent him back about rentals being covered. I just wanted you to see that, to see if you can make sense of it.
This is from Burndale.
No, it's not a truck. It's a lift.
It's just a lift.
Yeah.
It's not,
For
what,
what
something you
purpose?
pull behind it?
No, it's got a motor on it that moves, but it only moves about 5 miles an hour.
You move it up in for cut branches and stuff.
Yeah, up and down and back and forth.
Like a JLG.
Like the JLG lift?
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. It doesn't
Yeah,
take,
that's
it
what it
is a
is.
JLG lift.
Yeah, a man lift.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can we borrow it?
Play with that.
that's what he said. He's always.
I'm talking about me.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
No, I'm kidding.
It might be earlier. We might all be borrowing it.
I wanna try it.
She wants to drive it. Yeah, I don't know.
If you want, you get air seasick in those things. They wave in the breeze.
He's got a 60-footer and an 80-footer he's gonna let us use.
Wow. I'm thinking of cutting these trees that'll fall on people's houses.
Yeah.
If they use one of those to go up and cut the top.
Sure,
of
no,
the
that's
tree.
why I talked to him about borrowing it. Is because we can't afford to rent one, it's like $5,000 a week.
Mhm.
No one else. Yeah.
That's who's the new guy down here? AMS? The guy who's bought our old white truck.
Yeah.
He took down a tree, but he prefers to use con jacks, you know?
Yeah.
Strap your feet.
Well,
I think we're okay based on what he's saying.
Okay.
As far as insurance, I mean, it's a little confusing, but we read it
Yeah.
a couple times, I
I
think,
tried to make sense of it.
yeah, I think it's all right.
alright, so I'll make a motion that we, sign this release and present it to D.L. George, and then, we can use some of their equipment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. As soon as I get ahold of John, we will present that to him and line up his equipment. Because like I said, one thing that my question was about this too is if we go, if we go to like belt rentals or we go to lift rentals and we rent these things in, we've already done that. We rented these things and they don't make us,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Same
It's
thing.
very similar, yeah.
okay, anything else tonight on the agenda? All right, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to
Second,
Okay.
all in favor? Thank you. Look at that, we did that in an hour.
1 minute.
Thank you.
But that.
Wendy, I gave you two, one for the planning commission, I probably don't need to, but,
I'll file them, more the merrier. They're not enough. Don't bring your children anymore, they're too adorable. My heart was melting.
Did you say there's a piano there?
Can you guys sign stuff from the way around?
Thank you. What
Yeah,
office do you pay to drive on?
She brought her daughter.
Do it now. Straight with Aaron's.
Wendy's?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she
After
was.
she left, she came back for a
Jessica,
second.
I
I
don't know.
have a question to ask you.
Oh,
So I had an incident recently that the tax bill was supposed to be distributed in July.
Missed it.
An upset property was upset sale in September and didn't happen. Now,
It's up
I
to
sent
4
second
people,
notices
the
out for
family, and
taxes
anything
because
other than that
their
is
tax bill for this year wasn't paid. The person called and said that property was sold in September, this is the new owner. So I contacted county, they said, send out the second notice to the new owner. The new owner contacted me and said, I was told in court that all taxes were paid, I shouldn't have to pay this. So I got in touch with the county, and what had happened was apparently, like, so upset sales taxes were for prior, I guess, 2 years prior. And they didn't charge him for this year's school tax, so they said, told me that was an oversight on our part, you're gonna have to just submit the bill and we'll have to,